as a casing. So that cylinder and piston arrangement is used to draw the fluid and convey the fluid, because fluid may be air or usually oils. So piston functions in a reciprocating motion, so that a fluid is drawn in during suction and given out or discharged during the extension. So retraction and extension of the piston is usually create that reciprocating motion for the fluid to enter and get discharged, usually at higher pressure, because the suction takes place at a particular pressure, and whenever the extension of piston takes place, it usually forces the fluid inside the container or the cylinder to exit at a higher pressure. So this is the basic pumping action what we get from piston. So pump, next word is pump. So you are usually being defined what is a pump at the start of this module. So pump is nothing but it is a device which converts usually the mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. Mechanical energy comes from the prime mover electric motor. So that will induce the mechanical energy in the pump, in the shaft of the pump. So that creates, so in the output of the pump is nothing but the fluid energy or hydraulic energy at a higher pressure. So this is nothing but a piston pump. The glimpse of, so what do you understand from a piston pump from the already occupied data, whatever you have studied so far. So let us get introduced to a next level. So a detailed understanding with the help of a schematic sketch for the academic as well as for our lifelong learning purpose. So here piston pumps and its types. So why do you need types here? Because reciprocating motion usually can take place in two different directions, maybe axial on a particular axis, or it may take place radial on the vertical axis. So these are the two axes on which I can utilize the reciprocation of the pump or the piston. So based on that direction of motion of piston, reciprocating motion, so we have two types, major types of pumps, axial pump and radial pump, based on the direction of motion of the piston. Okay. So under that you have further more sub classifications here. Under axial we have something called as, how do you generate the axial movement of a piston? Because that is a core secret of designing or using a piston pump. I rely on reciprocation motion there. So how do you generate that reciprocation motion? Because here in the pump, we take an example of a single cylinder and single piston, but there will be a series of cylinder and piston, not one cylinder and piston, there will be series of piston and cylinders, multiple number of cylinder and pistons. So in that case, for us it is, for an engineer, it is a high time to think. So how can I generate this reciprocating motion in multiple cylinders simultaneously, one after the another, so that the flow is uninterrupted and the pressure is undisturbed. So these two I should keep in mind. For that purpose, so engineers should break their head, and they have found out a solution under axial piston pumps, two types. So how do you generate the reciprocating motion in a series of piston cylinder? That can be possible by using two types of design here. One we call it as swash plate design, and second one is oval plate design. So I will explain you, how do they give something called as, because I have written here fixed displacement. So these two are the design under fixed displacement. So I failed to tell you, always piston is categorized on its stroke length. Displacement is usually measured in meters. So what is the travel distance of a piston? So that will usually help me in getting the displacement of any fluid. So displacement of based on this displacement, we have two types, fixed displacement and variable displacement. Because I can vary the piston movement the way I want in the second case. In first case, displacement is usually fixed. So we will see all those cases. Under fixed displacement, you have two types, swash plate and oval plate. So what are they? We will see them in detail with the help of a sketch. Under variable displacement, where you can vary the distance of travel of a piston. So in that type of axial piston pumps, variable displacement, you have something, again two types, swash plate and bent axis. Okay, the name itself will usually define. We will see them with the help of a sketch, because since you are getting introduced to the topic for the first time, we need a help of a physical pictorial representation that will give us a more idea of a comprehensive knowledge about the piston. So now know them by name, we will enter to them with the help of a sketch. So two types of variable displacement pumps are swash plate and oval plate. So next comes the second type. So these are under axial piston pumps. Okay, axial you have fixed and variable displacement. Under fixed type you have swash plate and oval plate. Under variable displacement you have two types, swash plate and bent axis design. So these are all collectively under axial piston pumps. Second type of pumps are called as radial piston pumps. I told you the motion of or the direction of travel of piston will be usually on the vertical axis. So that is called as radial piston pumps. So there you have again furthermore two types, stationary cylinder block and rotating cylinder block. We will see them with the pictorial representation. How do they differ in their operating principle as well as the final outcome of the pumps. So this is a broader classification of piston pumps. So let us enter to the topic. So you can see here, we will start from the first one, the swash plate design. So just know the components here. So this component is nothing but the swash plate. Okay. So this component we call it as swash plate, or we call it by the another name also as cam plate. Okay, it is also called as cam plate. Usually this is fixed here. So this cam plate is usually fixed. So that means to say the cylinder block is moving. The cylinder block will be continuously revolving. You can see here two cylinders are represented here. Two cylinders with a piston that is attached to the something called as a shoe plate. So this plate is called a shoe plate, and these are the shoes. Shoes are provided for in and out traveling of the piston inside the swash plate. So piston can travel in and out because we have to provide the displacement for the piston, so that whenever the cylinder block is revolving, since the cam plate is usually at an angle, so length of the piston is more here and length of the piston will become less here. That means to say suction takes place here, discharge takes place in the lower end of the cylinder. Whenever the cylinder comes to the lower half, second part, so usually discharge takes place at a higher pressure. Whenever the cylinder and piston is at the upper half of rotation, so usually suction takes place because of retraction of the piston here. So on this concept all the cylinders are designed, axial piston pumps. Again I am repeating. So this swash plate is fixed because it is fixed displacement pump. That is why you need to understand this. Fixed swash plate, and swash plate is attached with something called as a shoe plate. Okay. So shoe plate can easily rotate on this fixed cam plate. So shoe plate also revolves, not the swash plate. Swash plate is fixed. Okay. That is able to rotate because it is connected to the drive shaft. Drive shaft is connected to the cylinder. Okay. So length of the piston is more, or displacement is more in the upper half of the rotation of the cylinder, and in the lower half you can see length of or displacement of piston is lesser here. That means to say suction takes place in the first half rotation of the cylinder, upper half, the fluid will be drawn inside the cylinder, and in the lower half okay, as the rotation continues. So in the lower half, the discharge of the fluid takes place at a higher pressure. So this is a simple principle of swash plate design. This is how I obtain reciprocating motion of piston, and that creates a flow at a higher pressure. So this is called as inline or okay, swash plate design fixed displacement axial piston pump. I repeat, this is a swash plate fixed displacement axial piston pump. You should know them by name, because there is one more case of it comes under variable displacement also. We have swash plate there again. So don't get confused. So this is a fixed displacement swash plate axial piston pump. Okay. So I hope this concept has reached you sufficiently. So coming to the next one, this is called as oval plate axial piston pump. These two are under fixed displacement only, fixed displacement. So here, okay, just observe, in the first case, the cylinder block is connected to driving shaft. That means to say cylinder block is rotating, cam plate is or swash plate is fixed. So this is quite opposite to that. So you can see here, the swash plate is connected to driving shaft and cylinder is fixed. Okay, vice versa of cylinder and swash plate here. Cylinder is fixed, swash plate is rotating. Here you can see as the theta is fixed here. Theta means angle of the cylinder to the angle of swash plate, because that is why you obtain fixed displacement. So here also theta will be fixed, swash plate will be continuously revolving. That makes the piston to reciprocate in the upper half. Okay, upper half there will be usually, if the angle is as shown here, so in this cycle upper half there will be discharge of the fluid, and in the lower half there will be piston travels more here, so that there is suction being created in the cylinder. Okay, I repeat, so in the upper half, okay, usually cylinder, the piston is traveling, okay, it is okay, it is extending. That's why discharge takes place here at higher pressure. So here piston is extending from here to here in this direction. So that means to say suction takes place in the lower half of the cycle. So because maximum stroke length will be obtained by the reciprocation of piston. So this is how, okay, you understand the difference between these two. Swash plate is nothing but it is a fixed swash plate. Oval plate is nothing but it is a, okay, it has a capacity to revolve, because driving shaft is connected to same swash plate. That is why its name is oval plate. It is usually revolving, unlike the fixed cam plate. So these differences are very important, otherwise you will fail to understand the topic. So remaining procedures, they remain same. The fixed displacement is obtained from the axial piston pump. Coming to the next cycle, okay, next set of pumps are called as variable displacement piston pumps. So you can see here again, I told you this design is nothing but variable displacement swash plate design. So variable displacement, previous case we have seen the theta, that is nothing but the angle between the cylinder and the swash plate is fixed. That means to say the output of the pump is fixed there, it cannot vary. Output of the pump is nothing but fluid energy or discharge. Discharge is fixed there. So here it is not the case. I want variable, okay, displacement, something like your, okay, elevators, where the pump should vary according to overload or according to weight. In case of elevators or lifts, in case of automobile hoist, where the pump should function, okay, radially with the variable loads. Automobile hoist, in that case the requirement is the pump should work like a variable displacement provider. That means to say the discharge should vary, the amount or quantity of fluid coming out of the pump should be a rush of fluid, more amount of fluid. So there I have to vary something called as theta here. You can just see one of the design, then you can understand all of them. It is just a stage by stage representation of zero angle, minimum angle and maximum angle. Zero displacement, minimum displacement, maximum displacement. Okay. Let us see first the case of zero displacement, then we will understand here. So if the setup is something like this, so this is the swash plate, you already know this. Shoes are usually capable of penetrating in and out of the shoe, okay, the swash plate. So you can see here theta is completely zero. That means to say angle between the cylinder and angle here, there is no, okay, they are usually zero. That is why you cannot see any displacement here. Displacement is also zero. There is no discharge from the pump. Okay. So second case you can see here, displacement is minimum because theta is minimum. Angle between the swash plate. So the designer can vary the angle, or the user can vary the angle of swash plate so that, okay, I can obtain minimum displacement or minimum discharge of the pump. So similarly, if you keep this theta maximum, the angle between swash plate and the cylinder maximum, obviously stroke length or displacement of the piston is more, so that usually discharge is also more here. So this is the influence of swash plate angle on displacement. So this is how you obtain variable displacement, by varying the, okay, angle, swash plate angle, and obtain the variable displacement from the swash plate design. Okay, this is the first case. I repeat, this entire axial piston pump is called as variable displacement swash plate design. The design is swash plate. By varying the angle, three cases I have shown here: minimum angle, maximum angle, and zero angle. Okay, if the angle is zero, displacement is also zero, there is no fluid being discharged from the pump. If this angle is minimum, swash plate and the cylinder angle is minimum, that means to say you have provided minimum permissibility for the piston to travel inside the cylinder. That means to say less amount of fluid is being discharged from the pump. So if you provide maximum angle, okay, in this pump will provide maximum angle, that means to say obviously piston can travel to the maximum stroke length. A discharge is also influenced by that, so that you can get higher discharge from the pump. So these are the various options in the case of variable displacement piston pumps. I have told you the core areas where we need this application: in case of earth movers, in case of automobile hoist, in case of usually the elevators. These are the three cases, okay, where the requirement is for variable displacement. Fluid should be discharged at a different rates, okay, high, low, medium. So that is the requirement, because sudden stopping, overloading, as well as all these things will be happening in all these applications. Okay. So last type of design under variable displacement is bent axis. You can just see here, this is the cylinder arrangement, okay, cylinder arrangement, and you can see the drive shaft and the swash plate is usually in line, but the entire cylinder is bent to a particular axis. So that is why the name bent axis design. Okay, till so far we have never seen cylinder is being tilted to a particular angle, but here, in order to obtain the reciprocating motion, you can, in this case of pump, the entire cylinder piston arrangement can be bent to a particular axis. You can see here the axis differs to an angle theta. This is what is shown here. So this theta gives a reflection on the displacement S of the pump. So this influence of theta is more on displacement of the pump. Obviously, displacement can be varied by varying this theta. The amount of angle permitted to the cylinder, that decides what should be the discharge of the pump ultimately from the bent axis design type of the pump. Okay, these are the usually the a few cases of axial piston pumps what we obtain. Okay, I repeat, axial piston pumps are of two types: fixed displacement. Under fixed displacement is swash plate and oval plate. Okay, second one is variable displacement. Under variable you have, okay, swash plate design and bent axis design. So now we know what are the types of axial piston pump. Why do we call them as axis? Because everything is decided by varying the axis of swash plate and, okay, cylinder. So this is how we can, usually engineers can play with the piston cylinder and swash plate. By their varying their arrangement, theta, you can vary the displacement S, so that you can get different discharge from the pumps. Okay, we usually rely on axis there, that is why it is axial piston pump, okay, to generate the, to circulate the fluid at different pressure. So second type of design is radial piston pump. I told you, radial piston pump you can see here, it consists of right from casing, we will come from the, this is called as casing, this ring is called as reaction ring, okay, reaction ring. Usually it is eccentric to the cylinder block. You can see here the reaction ring is mounted eccentrically, they are not concentric, they are not on the same center line. That is why this difference we have shown here. Center line varies, their center varies, because this eccentricity will give the centrifugal force required for suction of fluid in the reciprocating pump. So this reciprocating piston, okay, that reciprocation is generated because of this eccentricity. This eccentricity will give the centrifugal force for the cylinder block to rotate and create the suction of fluid. So this eccentricity plays a vital role here. So next comes the pintle. This is the inlet and this portion is the outlet. All the piston you can see, they are mounted radially around the cylinder. On the vertical axis they are mounted radially. So bottom half you can see, these are the inlet chambers and cylinders. The above upper half you can see, they are the discharge part or outlet of the piston cylinder arrangement. So as the drive shaft is connected to the cylinder block, okay, once the cylinder block starts to rotate, or the rotor also starts to rotate along with the cylinder block. Once the cylinder block rotates, along with that rotor also rotates. So in the bottom half suction takes place because of this eccentricity, okay, fluid will be sucked in, and at the upper half rotation of the cycle, because of the centrifugal thrust, centrifugal force, the fluid will be rushed out of the piston arrangement because of the displacement of the piston. So here again there are two types. One is stationary cylinder block. You can see here this stationary, this block is kept stationary, where drive shaft, okay, drive shaft usually is not connected to the cylinder, okay. So that is usually the cylinder block is stationary, drive shaft is connected to rotor. So rotor is revolving, cylinder is fixed, outside cylinder is fixed. So this cylinder is fixed, entire rotor revolves, okay. Second case is rotating cylinder block, where entire cylinder block itself it revolves, okay. So that same operation takes place because of the centrifugal force and eccentricity. The fluid will be drawn in the lower half of the cycle, inlet, upper half of the rotation, fluid will be thrusted outwards, forced outwards and discharged at a higher pressure. So these are the two types based on connecting of the drive shaft. One, you can connect it to directly to the cylinder, entire cylinder rotates, rotating cylinder block, or you can connect directly the drive shaft of the motor to the, okay, rotor. So only rotor is revolving, cylinder remains stationary. So that is called as, okay, rotating, okay, stationary cylinder block. So two types of radial piston pumps. So that will be giving you the maximum displacement from the piston pumps. So this is the entire arrangement of piston pumps, various types of piston pumps. I have already told you, piston is nothing but the entire knowledge of piston pumps lays in how we generate reciprocating motion of the piston inside the cylinder. During the retraction, fluid suction takes place, and during the extension of this piston, fluid will be discharged outside. So how we arrange them, how we take care of this extension and retraction of piston, these are all various types of, okay, piston pumps have been designed to give us different types of outputs, fixed displacement and variable type of displacement. Hope this session has given you the complete understanding of piston pumps. So in the upcoming classes we will see the next stage of, okay, pumps in the further coming classes. Thank you.